I'm Johnny Scoville, and this is Chase the Heat. It's another installment of Late Night Snack Time. Johnny Scoville and the Scoville Squad. People, Hellgarden, check this out. This is their Orange Starburst. Nick Kemps is a friend of mine. Did a collaboration with Jezza from Down Under and my Chili Mama Bird. This is a tincture that they did. I'll tell you something. I'm going to read you how Nick made it. I reviewed it today. It's a delicious tincture. It's Orange Starburst was made with a combination of some orange peach pods he procured from a different grower. He then added to it, it's mostly, by the way, peach scorpions and ghosts, but he added a bunch of orange 7 pots and brain strain hybrids he's been working on. It is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful tincture. So yesterday I did a review, man, you guys remember this from yesterday, Hostess Cupcake. I said in the review yesterday that chances are there's nothing orange, there's no real orange in this. And I said when I reviewed it that if I was wrong, I'd apologize to Hostess. So I was wrong, there is some orange in this actually. Orange oil, I believe. Listen, it's so hard to read the label, I couldn't. So, but I'm told that there is some oil in this. So what we're gonna do today is we're gonna put a little bit of, we're gonna do the same thing we did yesterday, but we're gonna start a series for story time where I'm going to tell you guys my work history with stories. People ask me all the time, what'd you do before you did this? I'm going to tell you, I have a weird resume. Man. So, let me tell you how this whole idea came to be. First of all, let me have a little bit of my tincture. I have several different things to put this tincture on, so stay with me. So, let's start with the, hang on. Listen, yesterday I said that these aren't bad, probably not healthy for you, but it's not like you eat them all the time. A guy could eat these all the time with his tincture. Really yummy. And the tincture I put on yesterday, really yummy. Just super... adds a lot of heat. Man, well, there was no heat before, but boy, these are hot. But the flavor's great. So not healthy, but I'm eating it anyway. So here's how I came up with the idea to give you my resume and story time. I was talking to Bree today, Skyping her. I'm looking at her and her kids would jump on the trampoline. And Mia, Maruga Mia, is jump on the trampoline and a bird flying over pooped on her arm. Hilarious. It wasn't very funny for a kid. She took it like a champ. However, it reminded me of a story. And I thought, well, I can turn that into... I'm telling you about my work history. You'll understand in just a minute. My first job, I worked at a real job. I worked as a doorman at a hotel in the state that I worked at. I was with a buddy of mine who was on the football team. I was and a buddy of mine was the quarterback. Somebody made a suggestion I should do strawberry zingers. So I've got some strawberry zingers. Now it's got the dark cake on the outside. We're gonna drop it on here. I don't know if it's gonna absorb. It did. All right, we're in good shape. All right. So anyway, I was hanging out with, I'm making a video. Yeah, please keep going. I'm making a video. Here, that's the guy who just interrupted me. Say hi.
Oh, hi, how are you doing?
Thanks. Keep going. So, thanks a lot. You can mock him, leave him some really nasty comments. I was trying to be nice. Are you doing YouTube? What do you think I'm doing? He was the quarterback, and I played football with him. I was the end. Anyhow, I was driving with him to get an application for my first job. Strawberry zingers. Interesting, because the orange is overpowering the strawberry. Anyhow, my buddy picked me up to take me to my interview. And he had a new Saab car. Not new, it was new to him. It was an old Saab, probably had 1 million miles on it. But he was excited, first car. you know how it works. That was his first car. He was excited. So we're driving along. His name was David. His brother's name was Howard. They're in the front seat, and I'm in the back. I had a sunroof. And it wasn't one of those sunroofs where you push a latch and push a button. Zzz. It wasn't like that. It was a unlatch this, big canvas, roll it back, and I mean a sunroof, huge. So we're driving towards a place to get, I can tell you the name of it. I was driving towards the hotel to fill out this application interview. And we were driving along, I had my hands out the sunroof like this, it was fun. And all of a sudden, like Mia, a bird went under. I had my arms out. It was like I got hit in the hand with a water balloon. Almost knocked my hand back. I was like, I pulled my hand in the car, and it was coated, like my whole hand. Like I lived in Vermont. This wasn't a pigeon. It was like a golden eagle or something, an albatross or something. It was huge. I looked at my hand, and it was like, I was grossed out. It looked like, my hand looked like guacamole and mayonnaise all swirled together. Like this bird ate a big meal or something. It was gross. Anyway, I was like disgusted with it. They're both laughing really hard. And I was angry. I was like, I'm going to an interview. They thought it was really, really funny. So this was probably not a nice thing to do. But I took my hand and I wiped on the back of his seat. That whole watching Mia get pooped on made me think of that. So I thought, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell stories of my first job. Stories of how my resume. So I went to work as a bellhop. It's a kind of a funny thing. You're a bellhop, or excuse me, a doorman. All you do is open a door for people. They give you $1 or something just for opening a door. Helping them get the luggage from the front inside. Stick it on a cart. From there, the bellhop would take it to the room. So every kid there was a doorman. Every kid there was a bellhop. Every kid there was a waiter. But you know what was great about that? It taught you how to treat people well. It taught you how to earn $1. Being professional, being smiling, and being nice sometimes when you don't want to. It was a great lesson. That was my first job. I went to college, and I got a job at a place called Harvard on the Square, Harvard Lodge, so Harvard something. It was a clothing store, and I did not want to work here, but I needed to get a job. So I took this job. I'm not going to go with the zingers anymore. Look at this. I don't know if you have these in different countries. Animal crackers, man. No, go ahead. So I don't know if they have these in different countries, but this is a childhood thing here. So we're going to put some tincture on some animal crackers. So anyhow, I got this job at this place called Harvard, the Lodge, something. I wish I could remember the name of it. Some of you probably remember it. They'll say, you were close, it's this. It was an East Coast company. When I was a kid, I thought the elephants were the best, these things. So anyway, I got this job, and they were just opening the store. It was a brand new opening. So what I did, all we were doing all week long was, hang on a second, I'm gonna help this dude. Wait 1 second. Sorry about that, you guys. Somebody was helping, and I wanted to help this guy in the door. So here's the deal. This isn't an elephant. Which one is this? This is the polar bear. So anyway, I got this job working at this clothing store. All I was doing all week long was folding clothes and stacking them and getting ready for this grand opening. It was the biggest drag. I hated doing it. Never good at folding clothes. Not my thing. So to do that as a job all day was a drag. And my boss was named Laura. True story, man. So I'm working one day. Those actually taste amazing. These taste so good with tincture on it. So I was folding clothes, getting ready for the grand opening. She's all tense and stressed out, folding clothing. She walked behind me, I mean, grabbed my butt, big time. Like, me too, hashtag me, I'm telling you something. You have no idea. Oh, it's hot. Delicious. The animal cracker and the orange is delicious. I couldn't believe it. I stood up, and she didn't just like touch it or grab it. She grabbed it like she owned it. Like, it was crazy. I was like, I didn't know what to say. It was like 2 guys working with me, a couple guys working with me. They didn't want to say it. Hey, she just grabbed my butt. It was weird though. What are you going to say? You know, who's going to believe me anyway? So right then it was like lunch, true story, lunch break. So I'm like, man, I need, I got out of there and went next door to a place. It was a pizza joint right next door. Mind you, I'm on lunch break, right? So I go next door, and as I'm going next door, there's a cook. Man, these animal crackers are great. Another polar bear. So anyway, I go to get a piece of pizza. As I'm walking in, dude's behind the counter, takes his, apron off, throws it on the floor, says some really nasty words to the guy he was working with, and bolted out the front door. So I look up to the counter, the guy looks at me and goes, "Are you looking for a job?" And I thought he was probably just kidding, but I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "Really?" I said, "Sure." "What do you want? When can I start?" He goes, "Right now." Seriously. That's a long time ago. He goes, "Right now." So I literally walked behind the counter. He handed me an apron. I put it on. Didn't have any idea. He goes, "You'll figure it out as you go." And I just jumped in there and started working with him. Worked there for 3 years. Ran the place. But the next day, I'm at work at the pizza joint. I got up the next day, went to work, like I did for 3 years. But I'm at work, and Laura walks over for lunch. And she walks down behind the counter, and I said, "Can I help you?" Had her head down, lifts her head up and looks at me. Her eyes bulged out that far. She was "Johnny." I said, "What can I help you with?" She ordered a slice of pizza. Came over every day, saw her every day for a long time. It was my next job. So I worked at the pizza joint for a long time. At the pizza joint, I'm gonna do one more story at the pizza place, then I'll wrap it up. The pizza place, the first week I would work there, I stood in the front window of this place, had a big outdoor cafe. And the boss, his name was Tom. My mouth is burning. We stood in the window, and he said, "These are the people you can't serve." A lot of street people there. It is what it is. A lot of homeless, it was sad. But he pointed out people. I'm like, "I've been doing this for days. Is this a problem here?" And he's like, "Don't let him in here." So real quickly, I realized it was kind of like a bouncer / pizza cook guy. Because every day, somebody that was not allowed to come in would try to. I'd have to get them rid of them. And also, the place was open till like 3 in the morning. Next door to that was a bar owned by the same guy who owned the pizza joint. Kind of connected. So when you work there at nights at 3 o'clock in the morning, people would come over from the bar, drunk as can be, wanting a slice. And we'd end up, if somebody had a couple beers, we'd be like, "Yeah, listen, we're fine, so give them a slice." But if somebody was really, really hammered, I'm like, "I can't serve you." And inevitably, I'd end up having to get into these scuffles at work. I was telling this story to somebody. Oh, yeah. So I remembered who I was telling the story to. So anyway, it was Jazz Fest weekend there. It's the last story. Kind of gives you the idea that I was a bouncer as well as a chef, pizza cook. Not a chef, what am I saying? So anyway, I was working one day, Jazz Fest weekend. It was a nightmare of a day because we had a big board where we cook everything. On one side were all the orders that you had to make. On the other side, all the orders that were in process. And I mean the side of the stuff you had to make. People would come in, they'd sit down and we'd say, "Look, it's gonna be 2 hours before I can even come and get your order." And these people are like, "Yeah, no problem." I'm like, we wanted them to go away, but they're like, "Hey, no problem." They just sit down. So it was just a busy, busy day. And there was a waitress there named Amy, and she goes, "Johnny, quickly get out here, I need your help." There was a drunk dude out in the cafe trying to grab a slice of pizza off a plate of a family. It was roped off, and he's drunk, and he's leaning over the rope trying to grab a slice of pizza. So I walked up to him, and I knew the guy's name. His name was Jeffrey. So I said, "Jeffrey, dude, this is the wrong day for you to do that. You know, you need to move along, and this is not the day." So we encouraged him to go down the street, and he kind of thought better of it and moved on. I said, "Don't come back," I said to him. It was really bad. It was 110 degrees. It was just a tough day to have this guy act up. So about 2 hours later, she's like, "Johnny, he's back." So the buddy I was working with was a buddy of mine named Doug, who I'm still like this with. If you see this, I love you, Doug. You remember this story if he sees this. So, man, Amy's like, "Johnny, Doug, you gotta get out here." So I walk out there. It's the same dude, Jeffrey. Jeffrey looked at, he was a professor at the university before he popped a coil and kind of went off the deep end. But he wore like a tweed business coat, leather patches on the elbow. Drunk, he looked like a wolf man. Anyway, he's out there and he's trying to take a knife off the table of people out there taking a knife. So I walk out there, I'm like, dude, you can't be doing this. So it was a 21-year-old Johnny Scoville. It was different. So I just kind of rushed him and got the knife out of his hand real quick. And I got him into a headlock and got him on the ground. He started to bite my arm, which was really a bad idea. And I hit him a few times just to get him to stop biting me. I didn't know what kind of diseases do that. He didn't break the skin or anything. So we held him there and kind of, he fought a little bit. And halfway through, I'm thinking, all these people are watching this. So he gets up and he's kind of staggering around a little bit. And the cops are coming, right? Because anytime it does this, the waitresses will call the police. So the cops are on their way. He's taken off, and I gave him a shove just to get away from the outdoor area and on this place, I'm not even gonna say where it is because you guys can Google it and go see it, but they have these, there are 3 streets. It's kind of like Faneuil Hall in Boston. 3 streets, cobblestone, little quaint stores and street vendors and stuff. It's really neat, but there's overhangs on one side with these green steel girders, like steel railroad ties. I just pushed Jeffrey. I probably pushed him too hard, but I pushed him, and as I pushed him, it was like one of those slow motion deals, like no, and people were like turning their head in slow motion to watch, and I shoved him. He started to trip, and he fell, he fell face first into one of these girders. It sounded like exactly what you'd think it would sound like. A guy's head hitting a steel girder really hard as he's falling down. Made a horrible, horrible noise. And he stands up, and you know how head cuts are. It's this bad story. It just goes downhill fast. You know how head cuts are? They bleed a lot. Well, this guy hit his face first. I mean, his head bounced back, and he hits the ground. And he's face down. He gets up and turns to me, and his face, he has a cut from here to here. It's got to be that wide. It just was the whole forehead, and it was just opened up, and his face was just like, it was bleeding out of his ear. It was just really, really horrific. So the cops show up. Fortunately, he was hurt. That sounds like a horrible thing to say, but he got arrested, but it could have been a lot worse. He could have been arrested for more than what he was arrested for, but that kind of stuff, if I just stay on the pizza place, I can tell you a dozen stories from the pizza place. Anyway, it's going on too long. Maybe I'll focus on the pizza place. There's a lot of really great stories there. Pizza place in a college town. People used to try to dine and dash. I chased a guy once 1.5 miles. No lie, we clocked it afterwards. 1.5 miles and caught him. That's another story. Anyhow, great snacks. So we had the Orange Starburst, really an awesome tincture. Today I thought it was around $1 million, $1.25 million. I'm thinking it's probably about $1 million for a whole Scoville heat unit. So if you're somebody who's on the fence and you're like, man, people say, what do you use a tincture for? You're watching it. So today I put a tincture on an orange cupcake, Hostess. You got some orange in there. And they don't know who I am, and you probably never see this, but I'm sorry. If you made your labels easier to read, like look, you can't read that. If you made the labels a little bit easier to read, I would have read it yesterday, but you make it difficult. I think one of the reasons you make it difficult is because you don't want me to have to read that giant, ridiculous list of ingredients. Anyhow, so we tried that. We did some zingers by request from one of you guys. Can't remember who it was, but they're the zingers. That was fun. And finally, we put some of this tincture on some animal crackers. And you know what? Of all the things, this probably tasted the best of all of them. Somehow the combination of these crackers with the orange was just a beautiful, lovely. So anyhow, what we're going to do tomorrow is maybe I'll tell 1 or 2 more stories from the pizza place because there's some crazy stories there. And we'll move on to a couple different jobs that I did. Guys, in the description box you'll see a link for Nick Kemp's, the product Orange Starburst. Nick Kemp's Chili Mama Bird and Jezza created this, their collab. You'll see a link in the description box below. You can get this $50 a bottle, US money. Get it now. There's not a lot of them. Right there, you're going to see our pepper. Click it, become part of our family. Don't miss any videos by clicking the bell for notification. Right there is League of Fire. They're the WWE of the chili world, and right there is 2 relevant videos. Right there, you, I love you. I really do. I'm Johnny Scoville. This was Chase the Heat.